Hello everyone, and welcome to the 150th episode of Analyzing Penis, featuring Austin Powers from the Austin Powers trilogy. One of the greatest secret agents in film history, and the funniest, Austin Powers originally started as a parody of James Bond, but he grew to become so much more. A cultural icon in his own right, Austin Powers is the story of a man who comes from a time of free love, a time when a man could be ugly and have bad teeth and still get pussy. The story of a man who was thrust into a new world full of challenges, and how that same man overcame those challenges and got pussy once again. But you know what? You can get pussy too. And that's why this episode of Analyzing Penis is sponsored by Mandingo Coltrane's 7 Pro Tips to Get Any Woman. Thank you, Mandingo, for sponsoring this video. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Austin's story begins when he was but a baby, when he witnessed the death of his mother and the presumed death of his brother, Dougie. Raised by his now single father, Nigel Powers, Austin's relationship with his father would become strained, as Nigel never showed up to any important event in Austin's life. Still, Austin did inherit one great trait from his father: his mojo. Austin's mojo became the defining core of what made him Austin. He wasn't the best looking guy, and he had terrible teeth, but with his mojo, Austin could still shag oodles of beautiful, horny women. From his time training in the British intelligence agency, from whom he was named International Man of Mystery, to his time working for them as a secret agent extraordinaire, Austin would come into his own as a sex symbol and legendary swinger of the mod movement of the 1960s, hosting scores of parties at his bachelor pad, and shagging himself silly every night. The symbol of his mojo and his lifestyle would be none other than the astrological symbol of the male, a symbol that represents Austin to a T. Austin's prowess both in the bedroom and in the field go hand in hand with each other, and, as the perfect example of what I mean, Austin once destroyed a group of fembots simply by being his own flamboyant and gesticulating self. The man simply danced around and smoked cigarettes, and they short-circuited and blew up. This is the power of Austin's mojo. However, one person would rise up to rain on Austin's good time. That man, of course, was Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil, unbeknownst to either person, was Austin Powers' brother, and he could not have been more different, because Dr. Evil, unlike his fun, swingin' brother, is a square baby. Dr. Evil isn't hip. He isn't cool. But he did have just enough intelligence to head an evil organization that opposed these things. One day, during a classic confrontation between the two, Dr. Evil froze himself. Austin decided to do the same to fight Dr. Evil in the future. Austin becomes unfrozen 30 years later in 1997. And it is here that he meets Vanessa, daughter of his former partner, Mrs. Kensington. But times have changed. It seems as though Austin, the former International Man of Mystery, is now the International Man of being completely out of touch. The slang is different, sex is different, and his teeth? No woman wants those chompers taking bites out of her roast beef. But Austin learns. He learns what it's like to live in the 90s. He adapts. And by the end of the first movie, he proves that he can be just as shagalicious as he was in the 60s. Sadly, Vanessa, Austin's newfound love, turns out to be a fembot. In addition to this, Dr. Evil steals Austin's mojo, the source of all his power. However, Austin overcomes this as well, proving that his mojo was with him all along, and is not a thing that can ever be stolen from him. In the third film, Austin would reunite with his father and discover that all along, his rival was none other than his own brother. There is a film made about his life, and so it seems, Austin Powers' saga ends with him coming out on top. And so, at this end, who is Austin Powers? Austin was a man who fought on the side of good, as well as a fun-loving relic of the 1960s British mod era. A man who, once pulled out of that era, proved time and time again that he could be just as groovy and shagalicious as he was then. Austin was a man who could learn and adapt quickly from his mistakes, and in various periods throughout time, but one who could also find satisfaction in the simple things, like a good shag, and good triumphing over evil. But Austin's talents came from his mojo, that part of his core that started in his fun-loving, magnanimous penis. And to that, what can one say except Yeah, baby. Yeah. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Analyzing Penis, and I hope you've enjoyed. What are your thoughts on Austin Powers? Did I miss anything? Let me know down below, and leave a suggestion for a penis you'd like to see in a future episode. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you soon.